Hello ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of this 2016 Mazda CX-3 2-liter Skyactiv-G two-wheel drive. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off at the front end of the Mazda CX-3, we have Mazda's signature grille, which looks really nice. Next to that, we have adaptive LED lights. Below that, we have our turn signals and fog lamps. Coming back to the center of this car, we have the Mazda signature grille, as I mentioned. And below that signature grille, we have an air vent for the air conditioning system. So, coming back out, the overall looks of the CX-3 at the front end looks really good. Starting off the side of the CX-3, it looks really good and simple. For rims of this car, we have 18-inch dual-tone alloy rims, which look really good. Wrapped around it is Continental Max Contact tires, 225/50 in size. These tires look good on this car. So moving on to the middle of the side end, we have this chrome strip running on below the door handles. And the door handles has Mazda version of a smart keyless entry and start. And for mirrors, we have LED repeaters baked into the mirrors. So at the back, we have nothing much very special. But if you can see, we have black plastic cladding running through the entire rear of this vehicle and front. And that joins together through the middle of the side. So, what do you think of this car? I think it looks really good from the side angle. It's my favorite angle of this car. So, let me know down in the comments below. Starting off at the bum of the CX-3, the bum looks really good. So, at the middle here, we have the Mazda logo, which is the old Mazda logo, which I believe they had a refreshed one in the later models. Then for lights, we have fully LED lights here, but some of them are globes, like the indicators, which it's a budget SUV from a few years ago, and I'm not really surprised. Then moving below, we have a license plate, and on top of that, we have a reverse camera and a button to open the boots. So moving more below, we have our LED reflectors, I believe, at the side, and we have dual exhaust pipes. Starting off with the Mazda CX-3's interior, I just have to say it's really nice and the build quality is great. But now let's start with what we have in front of you. In front of you, we have a semi-digital gauge cluster. The only thing analog here is the RPM meter, which for an 8-year-old car, that is really impressive. Even the new Mazdas these days don't have this many screens. So we have about 1, 2, 3 screens in total for our driver. And if we include the heads-up display, that is 4. And then moving to our steering wheel, we have our infotainment buttons on one side and our cruise control on the other. And in the middle here, we have our horn. As for infotainment in this car gets a 7-inch touchscreen running Mazda's older version of MZD Connect. Even though it's old, it's still really good. And paired to that is a 6-speaker setup with 1 subwoofer. For the Mazda's air conditioning system, we have automatic single-zone air conditioning system. Even though it's a single zone, it's still really good. It provides enough air circulation for the entire car, and every single passenger sitting in the car will get aircon. And moving down, we have a CD player, and we have a 12-volt socket with USB port and an aux to play your favorite music directly from your phone or from a USB stick that you have prepared. And moving more below, we have our drive selector. So this is our park, reverse, neutral, drive, manual mode also is included. You can shift via the shifter or the paddle shifter at the back. Below that, we have a cute little sport mode which just keeps the revs higher during extra periods of power needed. Moving on, we have Mazda's MCD Control Center. So this basically controls the Mazda MZD Connect screen. And it's really nice to use and has a very tactile feeling. That's why some Mazda owners really love this feature and would love for that to not be discontinued. And next to that, we have our manual parking brake, which I know it sounds bad, but it's actually pretty good. It's felted with leather around it. Even though it may not be the newest or flashiest electronic parking brake with auto hold, it's still good enough for day-to-day use. And who knows, since it's a Japanese car, you may even be able to pull a SUV drift. If you know, you know.
Before I forget, I forgot a very fun thing about this car. This car has a sunroof. Many new SUVs these days don't have sunroof or they have a panoramic sunroof, which I like, but having a sunroof at a small SUV is really nice. And we can open it just by this. There is a wind deflector up there, so it won't be very noisy when you're driving around. And you can just put it back just like that. And this car has a sunglasses holder right here. Coming to the back end of the Mazda CX-3, we have quite a bit of space in legroom, but in width, it's not very wide. It only could fit 2 people at the back and 3 people with a stretch. Headroom is good, everything else is good, but we do not get center aircon vents, so that's very sad. But the air from the front will come to the back eventually. So there's nothing much really we have back here. We just have a reading light and a light that opens when the door is open. And we have cup holders and a tiny pocket here to put miscellaneous stuff like a phone or something else. So overall, the back seats aren't very impressive compared to the front seats, but are still pretty good for anybody looking for a small SUV.
Coming back to the bum of the CX-3, we have to check out the boot. So the boot isn't a power tailgate, but it does a good enough job at opening by itself most of the way. So when we come in the boot, we'll realize that it's actually pretty small. But what makes it great is it has 2 top header points, which is great for parents with child seats. So what else does it have? It has a light here, which can be turned off and on. It has a tonneau cover, which is very nice. Some SUVs don't even give that. And this is what the top looks like. Sorry if the shots are not getting focused. I'm trying my best. So that is what you use to open the boot, and this is what you use to close it. So the boot isn't that big for a SUV, but what's favorite of mine? We get Maggie Me. The Mazda CX-3 is powered by a 2-liter Skyactiv-G engine. And this Skyactiv-G engine pushes about 154 horsepower and 204 Newton meters of torque, pulling this car from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 9 seconds. It may sound slow, but it's actually reasonably fast for a small SUV. And this car, it was really fun. It's front-wheel drive, and that engine right there is mated to a 6-speed torque converter gearbox. It all may sound bad, but it's actually really fine. As a passenger in this car, I really like it a lot. But as I said, the back space is not really nice. But that's totally out of the point of the powertrain. Now, this is why I love the Mazda so much. This 2-liter engine, to get it going, you have to rev it a lot. And I really like the sound of when it revs. Whenever my parents rev it, it's super fun and loud. Overall, the Mazda CX-5 is an excellent car for small families and people who need an SUV but don't want it big. But if you're buying a Mazda CX-5 used, I recommend you guys buying the 2017 model year, because the 2017 model year included good stuff, including memory seats and powered seats for both front driver and passenger. So that is just one of the things better of the 2017 model. There's a whole lot of more things that are better for that model year. So I recommend you guys getting that. But it's all up to you how much you can afford. And overall, this car is great for anybody needing a small car, as I mentioned. And I think that is it for me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.